Dominique Wilkins, he cannot stand this battle of the eras. He thinks it's so disrespectful, and it's really frustrating for him to hear. Dominique Wilkins, he's also known as a human highlight reel. He's beside himself with the commentary, and he's speaking out. So I have to say that I don't see the battle of the eras getting any better anytime soon. This is a bad look for the NBA, but I want you guys to hear Dominique's thoughts.
Take us back. You sitting in the room, table 5, the guys from the 80s, your era, talking about the evolution of the game. How would that go?
Yeah, you know what? We give all eras their respect because we had to learn from somebody, right? So we learned from the guys before us. And so we always appreciate basketball and everything. We talk about it, but the one thing we will say is that it's their time. We've had our time. But I hate when they try to shit on us to prove their point.
Right.
They don't have to do that, because, great is great. Don't care what area you're in. But, don't use past area to elevate yourself. Because we never did that to guys like, look, I'm never going to say I'm better than Wilt Chamberlain or Russell, or I was just with Oscar Robertson.
We had him right. We just right there.
And we appreciated you guys, because we learned from y'all, And so
that's how we feel about y'all.
Yeah, because we're like, anytime I get a chance to talk to guys before me, man, I'm like a kid in a candy store. It's a pleasure for me. And I've never thought that I was bigger than the game, because nobody's bigger than the game.
Right.
Because it's always one coming behind you. So no one person is going to be bigger. You can be an iconic figure of the game, in which we have a lot of guys who fits that bill, but the game going to keep evolving with or without you.
I mean, Dominique, I feel like he was really gentle with his comments. He could have been really rude. He could have completely insulted this generation of players. I don't think he did that at all. To me, he spoke from a hurt place, a place of feeling disrespected. And I can't blame him for feeling that way. I think he did make some key points, and I think it ties back to humility, really. Saying that you're better than guys you never played against is crazy to me. Focus on the competition in front of you. If you can't beat the competitors in front of you, why are you worried about deflecting to players of the past? Every time players today can't meet the standard they set for themselves, because they set these standards for themselves. They come into this league. They want to beat the players before them that were considered the best. That's what they want to do, right? They set those standards. They want to be compared to them. They enjoy these comparatives, these comparisons. But every time that they can't meet the standard, every time they can't live up to the hype that the media is giving them, or that their media machine is pushing and forcing onto people, there becomes this weird deflection to players of the past that aren't even playing anymore. Now, perhaps it's because they are oftentimes replying to a former NBA legend, like a Charles Barkley, a Shaquille O'Neal, that they maybe feel the need to clap back. I mean, Scottie Pippen, if any of you guys remember what Kevin Durant did after he made some comments about him, I mean, he completely ethered him. And some of it is well-deserved. So I don't blame them for having replies back, for having quote unquote clapbacks to these, former NBA legends. But it seems like it really started from just a place of really hurting their manhood. If, older NBA players are saying, hey, this league today is soft, that hurts. I think it hurts their ego and literally how they feel, as a man. They feel disrespected. And I think that that's where a lot of this comes from. And I don't think the older players were trying to disrespect them. They're just trying to point out the differences between their leagues. And today's league is soft. That's the truth. And sometimes the truth really hurts. So I think that these players feel hurt by not being a little bit more embraced by the older players, by not feeling like, they respect them and how they're winning. It's harder. I think it's really hard for them to respect players that are teaming up, that don't want to compete. You're teaming up with people in your draft class to win. You're orchestrating and manufacturing titles instead of, allowing organizations to do their jobs, and also just having a strong will to compete. There's skill and there's will. And those two things need to align. So, it does bring me to my last topic, and that's Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq Diesel, whatever we want to call him. He was out for blood. He was answering some questions from his son's on his son's podcast, and it was pretty funny to me. But let's hear who Shaq thinks is the worst basketball player of all time. I'm going to play that for you guys.
I don't know nothing.
WOAT NBA player.
Rudy Gobert.
Oh my God, I knew he was going to say Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert.
He's worse than Ben Simmons?
Ben Simmons is another bum. No, because you know why?
I'm sorry to Rudy Gobert and Ben Simmons.
Because I'm gonna tell you why. If you sign a contract for $250, show me $250. It's the reason why I walk funny and why I can't turn my neck and why I can't do it, because I played for my 120. So you got guys like him that the system over, they're making all this money and they can't play. So I don't respect guys like that. Like every time I make these comments, people think I'm hating, but these are facts. You got teachers, you got firemen, you got doctors who have real jobs and don't get paid shit.
WOAT.
Okay. Rudy Gobert and Ben Simmons. I'm sorry, but that is just hilarious and disrespectful all at once. Ben Simmons, he's like, to me, Ben Simmons is kind of like a welfare recipient who is working the system. It's hard for me to believe that he has a back injury or mental health issues, all because Doc Rivers criticized him directly after Philly's second round knockout against the Hawks in 2021. I believe that he doesn't have the mental fortitude to be in the NBA? Yes, I do. And I think that he should probably be retired. Not everybody is strong enough mentally to be there. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of strong, mental. It takes a huge mental capability to be there to really work on your game, work on the flaws of your game. Players don't want to do that these days. Okay, so you couldn't shoot. You couldn't shoot in college. You quit in college. He quit at LSU. Then he quits in the NBA. But yet he gets this huge contract that he gets to get paid off of, and he's not really delivering. Not only is he not delivering, it's not just that he's playing poorly, he's not playing. So I don't blame Shaq for saying that he doesn't respect that. He doesn't like it. I can see how that's troublesome. Guys that were the plumbers and the firemen, they suited up. They got out there and they played. They played every game all the time, then went to their regular job in the summer. So, I think it's interesting that guys today, they have a luxury of citing mental health, whereas those luxuries were not afforded to anybody in the past. And mental health is a big deal. It's something that we all need to get after. It's something that players could suffer from for sure. And I believe that perhaps Ben Simmons is going through something, but for several seasons and several years, it sounds like you don't need to be in the NBA anymore. There's got to be an expiration date on that. So like even, at my job, you can go on a leave of absence for about 6 months. Your job is held. It shouldn't be held for 4 years. How many years is he going to be sitting on the bench claiming mental health? There's an expiration date on it. Hold his job for 6 months, pay him for 6 months, and he needs to be cut. Period. That's how I look at it. But, people might tell me that I'm wrong. People might say that I need to be more sympathetic to what he's going through and that he deserves, 4 years of paychecks because he, has a mental block that's causing him not to be able to shoot the ball. So, for me, if I know I can't shoot the ball, of course I'm not going to want to shoot it. Simple. He didn't even want to dunk the ball. Basketball is a physical sport that requires physical talent, right? But like anything else that requires skill, it also requires will. Mental agility in this sport is critical, and being able to have resiliency during the regular season as well as the playoffs it's part of the job. That is your job. It's my opinion that Ben Simmons is impersonating a basketball player. He's wearing a basketball uniform as a costume, in addition to making fashion statements and wearing multiple iced out chains on the bench. Ben Simmons was at the Met Gala, and so was Angel Reese. The difference between the two of them is that she had a game the next day and she played in that game and she won that game. How is it that someone who is being sent death threats over the last 2 years can get on the court, but Ben Simmons can't? Shaq calling out Rudy Gobert was more of a grudge that he's holding against him for saying that he could lock up Shaq all those years ago. I think it was maybe 2020 or 2021. He came out with a statement, or it might have been as soon as he got to Minnesota. I think Karl Anthony Towns was making big statements about himself, saying he's the best big man ever. He's the best big man shooter ever. And Rudy Gobert also made a statement that he could lock up Shaq. So, I thought that that was really funny, and everybody thought it was ridiculous. Instead of Shaq just kind of laughing it off, which I think initially he did, he took offense to it, because how could you lock up one of the most dominant players in NBA history? How could smaller players run right through you, right through his chest multiple times in critical games, but you can lock up Shaq? That doesn't make sense. So I get Shaq holding on to that, but Rudy Gobert is definitely not the worst player of all time. That was laughable and not true. And these are things that make the older players look like haters, unfortunately. So Shaq was always overweight. Kobe did not like that. I don't think he was always overweight. Look at the little picture I have in the top left corner. He looked great there. But he definitely wasn't in shape for many years of his career. And I think that, the latter end of his career with the Lakers, he just did whatever he wanted, and he wasn't working out. He wasn't putting his best foot forward. And I think that was, a huge part of the problem for Kobe Bryant. He wanted to be the best. He wanted to have his teammates be the best and to rise to the occasion at every turn. And Shaq just wasn't that guy. He was the kind of guy that, rested on his laurels and ate a lot of junk. He was a movie star. He had all these endorsements, he had big contracts, right? I mean, Shaq probably didn't think that the most dominant player himself needed to work out and eat healthy, because he was doing whatever he wanted, getting whatever he wanted on the court. He even changed some NBA rules. So Shaq's a legend in the game, and I respect and appreciate what he's done for the NBA. But you're right. I mean, he was out of shape. It caused tension on the Lakers and between him and Kobe. So Kobe had to get away from him, and I don't blame him for that. And, the rest is history. Kobe went on to win without Shaq. Shaq went on to win without Kobe as well, but less, right? So, I think that Shaq has the cachet to make these kinds of statements and to to share his opinion, and people, it's going to go viral, right? And I get it. He's having a conversation with his son, but anything that he says, he needs to be accountable for. And Rudy Gobert being the worst player of all time is just not true. There's so many more. Kwame Brown was one of the biggest busts in NBA history. And I don't even think he was the worst player of all time. So, really interesting stuff there. I am going to open up the phone lines again for everybody to call in. It's scary to think how many titles the Lakers team could have won if Shaq was all in. I couldn't agree with you more, Matt. They would have won 4 in a row. Maybe not. That fourth finals appearance, they might not have won that. There was a lot of infighting on the team. Karl Malone was there starting trouble. It just wasn't very good, right? But let me throw up this phone number for you guys. Feel free to call in. If no one is calling in, we're going to call it a night. I really, really appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. It was really fun for me to go live, my very first time. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I do want to shout out Jeffrey. He did donate to the channel, and I really appreciate that. So shout out to you, Jeff. And yeah, Lots of fun tonight with you guys. Okay, I will leave it open for about another minute or so. If no one else is calling in, then I will go ahead and close out. Oh, okay. What time do you guys think I should go live? So I'm pretty much available to go live on Friday. Obviously, I do man down at 4:30. Do you think 12 noon is a good time? The evening? When would you guys like for me to go live? Should I do a poll? I can throw a poll in the community page for everybody. Is lunchtime a good hour? $6 p.m. Central Time. Okay. Mel likes 12 noon. Does anybody else agree that Rudy Gobert is overrated as the defensive player of the year? He's probably one of the most overrated defensive player of the years. I agree. My ultimate goal for the channel is to go live twice a day. So I would love to do it in the morning with a little cup of tea. I think that's kind of cute. Yeah. Rudy Gobert is so effing overrated. Like, did we see what he did in the Western Conference Final? He couldn't guard anybody. It's ridiculous. Okay, guys. I really want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. This was a really, really fun live for me. I'll be back next Friday live. I'll probably drop some more content actually this weekend. It'll be most likely recorded. Maybe I'll go live on Sunday. Who knows? But I'll do a nice little poll for you guys to see what you're thinking. And I'm still blaming him for the bubble. Oh my gosh. No, I don't blame you. Oh man. Okay. Well, thank you all. Like I said, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, throw some comments in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. It was really a time tonight. Thank you all. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.